Pacific Rim is a story of resistance, of machines against monsters, of humanity on the brink of extinction. And in the middle of all that disaster, there was an incredible management effort where the world organized as a single block to create its own monsters. But what if what we saw on the big screen or in the comics was only a fraction? What about the hidden designs? What about the ideas that were too expensive to make it off the page? In this video, we will aim precisely at that, at the Jaegers that didn't make it out of the render, at those that were discarded without a chance, at those that were born in classified blueprints and died before being named. They are not part of the official canon, they are not in the showcase, but they existed, and today you are going to meet them. Often, what is not told is what reveals the most. And precisely for that reason, I was always obsessed with what is not seen, what was left out of the frame. Pacific Rim is a franchise with practically unlimited potential. Guillermo del Toro himself has said it time and time again, there is still much left to tell. And amidst those lost stories, there are Jaegers that were brutal, designs that could have opened new narrative lines with more action and depth, but also with a complexity that was too high for something purely commercial. This video is not just a list, it is a recovery, because there are 7 incredible Jaegers that were left in oblivion and that never, ever should have been hidden. And we kick off the #1 spot with Solar Prophet, the Jaeger that held in its core the God Particle. It was built in South America without help from any major power, an act of technological rebellion. Peru, Chile, Brazil, and Argentina united economically and technologically to prove that they also could raise a colossus of their own, one with independent technology. They succeeded, but the price was too high. In the center of Solar Prophet beat a unique reactor, an antimatter core, practically infinite energy, but also an unprecedented scientific anomaly. It was untamable and unpredictable. During initial tests, it worked. Solar Prophet held up. It proved that this was the path to creating the first Jaeger with unlimited energy. But that energy was too overwhelming, too much for a Mark II, too much for our current technology. So, in an unexpected attack, facing an unidentified kaiju, Solar Prophet was deployed, and in the middle of combat, the core collapsed. They say the blast was so powerful, it felt like a supernova on Earth. The kaiju disappeared, but so did 3 entire cities. There was no margin to evacuate, no margin to understand, only light and then silence. What was supposed to be the pride of a continent became a global tragedy, and it confirmed that antimatter was not the way.
Which brings us to spot #2, Shaolin Rogue. The only Jaeger specialized in underwater environments, China faced a problem that other countries avoided. The kaiju would not always attack on dry land, and if the enemy could come from the ocean, then we had to go down to find them. Most Jaegers were clumsy underwater, big, heavy, hard to maneuver. Even Striker Eureka, considered a god among Jaegers, had trouble fighting at depth. Thus was born the concept of Shaolin Rogue, a stylized, humanoid design with fluid lines closer to a wetsuit than a tank. It carried an integrated dorsal thruster capable of adapting to ocean currents and maintaining stable combat speed. It was fast, precise, and above all, silent. It was not created for head-on clashes. Its role was to patrol, watch, and intercept threats beneath the surface. The first Jaeger with a tactical doctrine designed exclusively for the sea. It was deployed only once, in the South Pacific, south of Tonga, where an anomaly had begun to grow. There are no military records of the operation, only an activation signal, and then nothing. Shaolin Rogue disappeared along with the kaiju it was facing. No wreckage, no cockpit, no final transmission. It was the ghost of the ocean, the only Jaeger that made the depths its battlefield, and its grave.
We move to spot #3, Acid Geisha. The Jaeger that broke all limits, even those of the military budget. After so many colossi of brute force, Japan wanted to advance on a different path. They wanted to surpass what Tacit Ronin once was. Acid Geisha was the attempt to take that idea to the limit, faster, sharper, more dangerous. Its silhouette was even thinner, with highly resistant experimental materials. It didn't use cannons or heavy artillery, only ultrasonic vibration blades capable of cutting through kaiju tendons and bone like butter. And in its hands, a high-density chemical system designed to degrade enemy armor before the physical attack. It didn't crush, it didn't push, it weakened, it pierced, it bled them out. But there was a problem. The speed it reached was too high, and its body, as advanced as it was, couldn't handle it. Every extreme movement generated internal microfractures. Friction overheated the joints. They tried to reinforce it. They used titanium carbon, treated tungsten, and even graphene compounds in the most critical zones. But even that wasn't enough. The projection was clear. Acid Geisha would not withstand more than 5 complete missions without having to be rebuilt almost from scratch. The cost was abysmal, the risk unacceptable. Just the coating cost the same as manufacturing 5 or 6 Gipsy Dangers. Acid Geisha was archived, not because of its shape, not because of its silhouette, but because being too advanced for its time. Diablo Intercept, the Jaeger born to arrive first, and that never arrived anywhere. The idea was clear: create an interceptor, not a siege titan, but a fast hunter. Lighter than any other Mark II, Diablo Intercept could activate in minutes and shoot out from its bases to intercept kaijus before they set foot in a city. Its design prioritized mobility. It didn't have heavy armor. It didn't have complex artillery. It had strong legs, long-range sensors, and reflexes tuned to the millimeter. But no one knows what happened. Some say it fell on its first mission, others that it never left the testing phase. There are no images, no combat records, only blueprints and a sealed folder with its name. Diablo Intercept became a symbol of what could have been, a continental effort that died in silence, without glory, without guilt, and without witnesses. An interceptor that never intercepted anything. Matador Fury, Mexico's spearhead, in one of the most powerful Jaegers ever conceived by humanity. In Guillermo del Toro's original vision, Mexico was not background territory. It was a powerhouse, and its power was born from a strategic source: energy. Mexico became a technological super industry: reactors, structural parts, armor plating. A nation that fueled the war against the kaiju and decided to create its own colossus. But it wasn't just any colossus. Matador Fury was so massive that it couldn't be transported easily. It was a land machine, fixed, dense, brutal. It was built like an armored wall, reinforced with the most powerful hydraulic system of its generation, a giant for close combat. It fought face to face, ramming, crushing, and for a time it worked. It was invincible, until the kaiju changed. They became faster, smarter, more precise. They started detecting its patterns, dodging it, counterattacking before it could strike. And that was its downfall. Matador Fury wasn't weak, it was just slow for a world that was accelerating too fast. Black Maria, the Jaeger with the most overwhelming firepower in humanity, and the second monster that Mexico built. When Matador Fury started falling behind, Mexico didn't take it as a failure. They took it as a warning. The war demanded something else: accuracy, pressure, and destructive power from a distance. And Mexico responded with tactical fury, with Black Maria. Designed to complement Matador Fury, not to replace it. Together, they were an invincible duo: the frontal impact and the covering fire. While Matador trapped, Black Maria fired. While one resisted, the other pulverized. Black Maria was an artillery fortress. It mounted long-range plasma cannons on its shoulders, a vertical missile launcher on its back, and frontal artillery capable of opening constant fire for whole minutes without overheating. It had a tactical vision system based on satellites and drones, and it could operate even without a direct line to the pilots, using autonomous firing protocols. It didn't run, it didn't ram, it planted itself, took aim, and erased things from the map. Guillermo del Toro has mentioned on several occasions the intention of this Mexican Jaeger, a machine that didn't have to get close to kill, because when it fired, everything in front of it ceased to exist. Ultimate Fury, the Jaeger that should never have existed, and that perhaps wasn't even a Jaeger. When Obsidian Fury destroyed the development plant in the sequel, the world believed it did so to stop the production of other drones. But that was only half the truth. Inside that facility, a hidden experiment was brewing, a fusion between kaiju biotechnology and Jaeger combat systems. a hybrid machine with an artificial body but with a precursor mental design. Its name was Ultimate Fury, a unique model, more lethal, faster, more adaptable than anything ever created. The idea was simple but terrifying. Create an artificial body so advanced that it could be operated directly by a precursor's consciousness without leaving a trace. No signature, no human interference. Its physical structure moved away from Obsidian's classic design. It was white, more polished, more elegant, but on the inside, it was a monster programmed to kill. It had no pilot. It didn't need a pilot, only a distant mind. But then the plan changed. Humans were getting too close to the truth, and that was when Obsidian Fury destroyed the plant. It did it to erase everything, every file, every skeleton, every cell. Ultimate Fury wasn't canceled, it was buried. Its story didn't make it to the cinema because it was too complex, too ambitious, and above all, too expensive for a movie like Uprising. But the designs exist, the ideas exist, because Ultimate Fury was real. It's just that it was never told.